Shining, they all dare. Tougher, fists held high. Warriors fight till the night says die. FWE, where battles divine. Every broken bone, all by design. Chained to the thrill, they let it be. This ain't a game, it's FWE. FWE, where battles define. Every broken bone, all by design. Chained to the thrill, they let it be. This ain't a game, it's FWE.
Hello everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of FWE Extra. Less than 2 weeks away from the upcoming PLE at Mortal Kombat. I'm Seth Cole, alongside of the Wayfinder Cruiser Champion, as well as the new Tri-Wizard Champion here in FWE, Jack Mitchell. And Jack, we are closing in on Mortal Kombat. We've got Paramount on the horizon as well, and we continue to build towards the Elimination Chamber matches.
That we do, and I'm looking forward to seeing this Mortal Kombat qualifier tonight as well, because it's between 3 members of the same tag team. The Disney Queens have 3 different members in this triple threat qualifier for determining who gets into the Women's Elimination Chamber match.
Not the first time, especially on the women's side, that we've seen friends have to go up against each other. Think back to, I think it was the first or second qualifying matchup that we had, where it was 2 members of the same tag team in Shigo and Kim Possible. Gonna have the same deal again here, but throw an extra of the Disney Queens into the mix in triple threat action.
And her opponent, first representing the Queen from Baghdad, Iraq, the Diamond Princess.
Jasmine, member of Disney Queens, that right now there's not a whole lot going on with her. We know that Ariel has been a multi-time hardcore champion. We know Mulan's got a date with Destiny in the main event for the Women's World Championship at Paramount after winning Royal Rumble, and of course Belle and Rapunzel, the current holders of the Disney Women's Tag Team Championship belts. But for Jasmine, kind of the odd woman out, it'd be big for her to be able to get into a title picture if she's able to win this triple threat.
Absolutely, it would be a huge resume boost if you're able to just even get inside the Elimination Chamber match. So really interested to see what the mentality is in this matchup between these competitors, especially since something that we talked about when I believe it was in that last qualifier match that you mentioned. It was Shigo who advanced against Kim Possible. Something that we talked about was that I don't really know if there was as much, I'm not sure what the word is here, forgiveness, I guess, between the 2 tag team members going into that one, because we've documented that those 2 tag team members might not have the greatest relationship with one another outside the ring, but when they get inside the ring, it's all business. But this matchup, I don't really think there's any kind of like previously existing beef between these 3 women, so I'm kind of curious to see what the approach is to this one.
Yeah, absolutely no previous beef between these 3. They've coexisted pretty well inside of the ring, whether it be in multi-woman action, whether it be winning and defending these tag team title belts. Now, something that we need to point out here as well, we have been told by FWE higher-ups that in the occasion that either Rapunzel or Belle ends up winning this qualifying matchup, obviously they'd be in action at Mortal Kombat. So with that being said, there will not be the Women's Disney Tag Team titles on the line when we get to that PLE. And we do understand that following Mortal Kombat, however, there will be a tournament, if you will, determining new #1 contenders for those title belts to be defended at the Showcase of the Immortals at Paramount.
That should be really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing how that all shakes out. But of course, we've got a triple threat right here in front of us. Belle is about to ring. Here we go.
The wrestler or the item?
We'll find out right now.
Here we go. 60% of the faction known as the Queens in the action, are in the ring at the exact same time here. First pinfall or submission is going inside the Elimination Chamber at Mortal Kombat. We already know a number of individuals that have locked themselves in as this little double team there with Rapunzel and Jasmine on Belle, but the champion, Nebula, defending the Hero of China Fighting Female Championship, is obviously going to be inside of the chamber, and we know that Shigo is advanced, we know that Evil Queen is advanced, and we ended up seeing this past Thursday Black Widow, the latest of the advancees. After tonight, we're only going to have one more spot in the chamber left, and that gets determined next Thursday night on FWE.
The go-home show looks to be pretty exciting. I'm not entirely sure how Belle's going to feel that she just got double-teamed on a few moments ago. Again, all three members of the same faction here.
I mean, you know, as you've mentioned in these qualifying matchups, all of the individuals that are in these qualifiers, it's based off of their performances in the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches back at Royal Brawl. That's how they were handpicked to be in these qualifying matchups. I think with that being said here, is now Jasmine going to bring a chair into the equation here. No disqualifications in a triple threat match, but I think you have to come into it with a mentality of, yeah, you're going up against your faction mates, but at this point in time, all three of you can't advance. It's literally only one can advance. You got to treat this as an all business, nothing personal.
You have to. I mean, that's just the nature of things. And, you know, at the end of the day, worry about the personal relationships and all the tag team stuff later. Whoa, there's a diving move by Rapunzel to the outside. I'm not sure who got the worst of it.
Almost like a cross body there through the ropes. And to your point, yeah, I think that took just as much out of Rapunzel as it did out of Belle. Go behind chop block there by Jasmine. And again, triple threat rules, so you're not going to see the referee issuing any count out or any disqualification here. Anything basically goes. It's just the pinfall or submission has to take place inside the ring as Jasmine takes flight.
These guys are making some nice moves to the outside. And like you said, it's all legal. You know, there are some one-on-one matches that have served as qualifiers, but those have standard one-on-one rules. These have standard triple threat rules, which basically means there are no rules other than, like you said, the pinfall or submission has to take place inside the ring, but no DQ, no countouts, weapons legal.
Nice takedown there by Jasmine, then a drop kick to Belle. Consider this as well. I mentioned we're only 12 short days away from Mortal Kombat. You don't want to wear yourself out too much here and go into that matchup not at 100%. Ooh, nice cutter there. Nice float over cutter by Jasmine into the pinning predicament, and Rapunzel was quickly there to break it up.
And that's another thing that you have to keep in mind with the triple threats is that you're going to have somebody rushing to try to break the pin up if they're not incapacitated. I feel like they've gotten a little bit of an unlucky draw as well, having their qualifier matchup happen so close to the actual PLE, because that gives you less time to be prepared and recover from your qualifier at 100%. Nobody home on that springboard moonsault.
Took to the skies, nobody there for Jasmine, and now Belle looking for a submission move here. Rapunzel, kendo stick in hand, now going to wear out Jasmine. And now a little double team here on Jasmine.
Yeah, Belle was double teamed on earlier. Now it's Jasmine's turn. Jasmine's outside the ring. If Belle tries to go for anything here, she might not be there in time to break it up. This could be a great opportunity for Belle. Big knee.
Big knee right up under the chin. Not going to go for the cover, though. Working on the arm, that right arm there of Rapunzel, and Jasmine enters back into the fray.
This is good timing for Jasmine as well. Rapunzel is down and incapacitated, so if Jasmine can get Belle down, as she does with that huge kick, but Belle quickly back up to her feet.
Breaker by Belle, Jasmine down, Rapunzel back to her feet, now looking for the tilt-a-whirl airplane head scissors.
Rolls right outside of the ring, but just like that, Jasmine to her feet.
Oh, might have been... I think Jasmine was going for a roll up there and maybe overextended on that. Knee by Rapunzel, almost got the 3.
Timing is everything in a triple threat matchup, and Rapunzel had pretty good timing there, countering that roll-up attempt. We're trying to take back control of this matchup.
Whoa.
Oh, tossed over the top rope, sent to the outside.
Jasmine with another kendo stick in hand, and Rapunzel might think twice about going outside of the ring as she met that kendo stick with a cranium save for Belle.
Oh my goodness. Those are your tag team partners, and you're showing no mercy with that kendo stick.
But again, we kind of talked about this here. Belle and Rapunzel currently hold the women's tag team title belts. Ariel has been in the middle of the hardcore title picture along with Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn. Oh my gosh!
No love lost.
That chair literally just flew almost the entire distance of the ring on the outside and met with Jasmine's forehead. But you know, in what we're seeing here out of Jasmine, maybe a little bit of desperation where all of her Disney Queen mates all are either in title pictures or have been in them previously. She's not been able to, and maybe a little bit more extra motivation for her even than for Belle or Rapunzel. Cover here after a swinging neck breaker by Belle. Cover on her tag team partner and kicked out by Rapunzel at 2.
She can't believe it. You saw the heads, or the hands were on the head. Going off of that punch too early. Everybody back in the ring.
Belle looked into the corner. Might be looking for code of silence here as Rapunzel. Is Belle stunned, or is she going to be able to break this up? Can Jasmine maybe fight out of her? Is she going to tap? Looks like Rapunzel may have released the hold instead.
Another spinning airplane head scissors into the cover. Jasmine is down.
Oh, I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was going to be it. Jasmine was in no way able to have the wherewithal to break that pin up, and Belle just barely got the shoulder off the canvas.
2.9 kick out right there. That drop kick did not look effective. I was about to say Belle was in full control. Whoa. Jasmine dodging that attack, not for long though. It's a nice move by Belle, or by Rapunzel.
Could not avoid the drop kick. Belle back up to the apron as now Rapunzel goes in for the cover. Now it took a little bit of time considering whether to go for that pinfall attempt, and it's a little too late. Belle was on the scene.
Took just a little bit too long. Again, timing everything in a triple threat.
Nice sling blade into the drop kick combination by Rapunzel.
It would not surprise me if Rapunzel won this match the way she's been battling it out. She seemed like she's had control for most of it, but you see Jasmine on the outside just waiting for the moment.
Cover in.
And this is the moment. I'm not sure what she's doing over here.
To Mortal Kombat and kick out at 2. Jasmine stayed on the outside, did not interfere there, and that could have been costly.
That head scissors didn't connect. I was wondering what she was doing, trying to pay our announce table a visit.
I think Belle thought the same thing right there. It was like, what are you doing? Oh, disarmer locked in submission. Rapunzel is down. Belle with an opportunity to go to Mortal Kombat if Jasmine taps out.
Wearing out the arm, but I think she let go of the hold.
A lot of people probably wondering why are they letting go of these submissions. Well, if Jasmine's not going to tap out, could be doing something else here, trying to get rid of Rapunzel. And that's what Belle does. Is what is with all the flying chairs tonight?
Chairs galore being sent through the air. But Belle took a little bit too long trying to gain the favor of the audience, and now she's down. Looking for another code of silence.
Locked in on Belle. Is Belle gonna tap out? Jasmine's still dazed in the corner. Looks like Rapunzel gonna release the hold there on Jasmine, and now, might be, well, I think she was thinking about maybe going for one of those top rope arm drags, but instead, Jasmine gonna counter that. Hits the cutter. Belle is down, Jasmine in for the cover to go to Mortal Kombat, and Jasmine has done it.
What a win by Jasmine, thrusting herself into the title picture. She's got a spot locked up in the Elimination Chamber.
Only 5 spots have now been filled, only 1 spot remains. We determined that this coming Thursday night in the Go Home show for Mortal Kombat. And up next, on the men's side, qualifying matchup takes place. Another triple threat on tap here tonight at FWE Extra. ready for our second of 2 triple threats here tonight. Qualifying matchups for Mortal Kombat. We just concluded with our women's qualifying matchup. Jasmine moving on to the Elimination Chamber, and now we get ready on the men's side. An interesting scenario here, Jack, in the fact that the latest person to advance into the Mortal Kombat Elimination Chamber is the current United States champion. If Robbie Gilvin is able to advance here tonight, that means that both mid-card titles, at least for the men's side, would be represented inside of the steel structure.
More opportunities for more double champions, and this is part of the reason why I'm glad I can say I was at least the first. But yeah, we see the DC Intercontinental Champion Robbie Gilvin getting ready to try and qualify for this matchup.
And as a woman's first from Houston, Texas, weighing in at 235 pounds, Carlos Cody.
New entrance music here debuting tonight for Carlos Zimmerman, and much like we saw just moments ago, Jasmine now throwing herself into a title conversation. Opportunity here tonight for Carlos Zimmerman to be able to do the same. Rather young FWE career here. Has only had a handful of matches, but we talk about it. It only takes one to be able to turn your entire career around in FWE.
Absolutely, you know, that's the sort of talk that we mentioned when we got to the Royal Brawl PLE. Those 2 Royal Rumble matchups, they can be life-changing, career-altering if you can win those matchups.
Representing the crew from overseas, weighing in at 175 pounds, the Captain, Jack.
I mean, he's my teammate with the Black Pearl crew. Love him to death, but man, I don't know how Jack Sparrow has any energy after he's finished running down to the ring. Like, I'd be exhausted halfway down.
This is my favorite entrance, if I'm going to be completely honest. I love watching this guy absolutely book it to the ring, pulling a Charles Robinson, if you will. Jack Sparrow trying to put his name in the title picture as well.
Big opportunity here. I believe the last time he was in the hunt for a title, and I don't even think it was in a #1 contendership status, was when he and Will Turner tried getting into the tag team title picture. Really maybe the closest we've seen Jack Sparrow try to get towards singles gold, and it's not even a one-on-one matchup. If he's able to advance, he'd have to go through 5 other superstars.
Such is the life in FWE. Does not get any easier when you have an opportunity to actually win the title, but you've got to get there first, and that's what these qualifiers are all about.
Same rules as we saw in the women's match just moments ago. Pinfall submission inside of the ring, but triple threat rules. No countouts, no disqualifications. We'll more than likely see some furniture come into play here. And for Robbie Gilvin, an opportunity to maybe walk into Mortal Kombat and leave as a double champion. Of course, Matt McIntyre, we documented, the current United States champion, is advanced. His family faction member, Anthony McCurry, is already locked in, as well as Joker, and then, of course, yourself as the champion, defending that Wayfinder Cruiser Championship inside of Elimination Chambers. Early cover here by Carlos Zimmerman. Almost got this one put away here. 2 count on Jack Sparrow.
That would have been over really quickly. Something else that I'm surprised we haven't exactly mentioned yet is Robbie Gilvin, we saw defended the Intercontinental Championship last week, or this past Thursday, in a crazy match against Michael Norman. And you got to wonder, is he 100% going into this qualifying matchup?
Great point. That was a 2 out of 3 falls matchup that Robbie Gilvin was able to just barely eke out the victory, retaining the title against the, at this point, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time here in FWE, as kendo stick shot to Carlos Zimmerman, not even able to get a 1 count though on the cover.
And a big kick by Robbie. He's got a lot of energy going into this matchup. Again, we mentioned that is he not 100% so far? You want to be able to tell the difference.
Off the ropes. Back elbow there by Jack Sparrow. Now a faced buster there. Across the knee, and
look out behind you.
Oh, Jack was just barely able to notice. Jumping knee, Carlos Zimmerman down.
Oh, that's a big kick. Jack Sparrow trying to stay on the offensive.
Still to come
Oh.
later on here tonight, we will see the Hero of China fighting female champion Nebula in action. No disqualification matchup against Autumn Brooks, who the last 2 PLEs was unsuccessful in winning the Women's World Championship of the Galaxy, and therefore can no longer fight for the title so long as it is in the possession of Elizabeth Swan, as Gilvin almost picking up the victory here.
Oh, it was a big neck breaker, I think, move by Carlos Zimmerman, but his back landed on that steel chair, and you could tell he was slow to get up.
Now Scott Gilvin hoisted up, power slam there in the corner, but Jack Sparrow, well, he was gonna get involved, but instead allowing Carlos to issue out some punishment. Now he'll get involved. Smart there. Pick your moments in a triple threat.
Timing is everything. I keep saying it. It's still true. Big. I don't even know what you call that, but that's the
Some
cover.
kind of a stunner. Is that going to be enough? No. Carlos able to get the shoulder up. And if he hadn't, this would have been over. Gilvin was not there in time to break it up.
Jack Sparrow, all kinds of energy, both in his entrance and in this matchup. Both men are down. Both of his opponents are down.
Oh! Big back fist there again by Jack Sparrow. Robbie with a knee to the face, though, is Zimmerman on the outside. Buying a little bit of time, as I believe he's been busted open. I can't tell. It looks like it might be just up above that. Yeah, it's up on the right side of his head, right around the hairline.
Got a bit of a double team move for a moment there, but all alliances in a triple threat are temporary.
Whoa, was going for a shot maybe to the gut. Carlos with a bloodied headbutt.
Carlos doesn't care anymore. He said his head's already been busted open. Whoa, look at this.
Cover in. I think Jack was going for some kind of a, almost like a reverse senton to break that pinfall up and miscalculated.
He landed ugly, and he was in no position to break that one up. He was lucky there was a kick out. But now he's got Carlos up and down onto the steel chair.
Straight down onto the steel. Now Jack
Look out.
Sparrow to the top. I thought he might have been going for the double stomp, but he issues Carlos to his feet and will hit the double axe handle to the back of the neck instead.
And his knees land on the steel chair with a big shot to the head from that kendo stick. And Jack Sparrow is sent ringside.
Gilvin hoists Zimmerman up and down. Back of the neck again, across the knee.
Behind you, Robbie.
Oh!
Oh!
Well, he knows now. Blindsided by that steel chair shot from Jack Sparrow. And now Jack just wearing out the legs of Robbie Gilvin. Again, back to your point. That brutal 2 out of 3 falls match that Robbie had literally 72 hours ago. The effects of that might be coming to play here.
It absolutely might be, as Robbie was brutalized for the last 15, 20 seconds. He's still hanging on for life, as look out on the side of the ring over here. Jack Sparrow's back dropped right into the hardest part of the ring.
That ring apron is so unforgiving. There is no give to it whatsoever. Not much give inside of the ring, but there's at least a little more than you have there on that ring apron. Is now, well, Carlos looked like he might have been, I think he was looking maybe for the neck breaker, maybe a drop kick he missed on, whichever it was. Now he'll hit with a suplex though.
He was fortunate that he was able to stay on the offense, but he gets quickly sent to the ground. Robbie targeting the left leg.
Zimmerman with that deceptive power. You take away his legs, you take away his vertical base. A lot of that power game is now thrown on the top rope as Jack Sparrow.
Oh my goodness.
Disaster kick by Jack. Robbie is down. Carlos on the outside. Opportunity for Jack Sparrow if he can capitalize.
I honestly wasn't sure what was going on for a moment. There were so many exchanges, but it ended with Jack Sparrow standing, the last man on his feet, and now Robbie's the last man in the ring.
Clothesline, back elbow, and now reining in the left hands here to the side of the head of Robbie Gilvin. Carlos is back. He'll hit the neck breaker.
That time he was well on target. He's not going to let Jack Sparrow have much of a chance to get back to his feet.
you see that landing? The whiplash with the drop kick. I believe the back of his head bounced off that steel chair to Jack Sparrow. Now the cover in here by Carlos to advance to Mortal Kombat. Kick out at 1 by Jack.
Somehow Jack Sparrow
Look out,
still had enough wherewithal. And you got to be careful. You don't want referee Ernest Wright to get caught up in these moves, because then he's not able to count to 3 and win the match for you.
Jumping high knee by Jack Sparrow. Carlos Zimmerman, I believe, has rolled to the outside, and that's going to do it.
How about that?
Sparrow is going to Mortal Kombat.
Here is your winner, the Captain Jack.
Well, we talked about.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So we talked about that explosive entrance that he had to the ring, and now he can make that entrance sprinting into the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, goodness. He's probably going to run around, and they're going to have to tell him this pod, and he'll be like, this pod? No, that pod. No, this pod? No, that pod.
They'll figure it out. They'll sort it out.
Up next, main event, no disqualification match. Female fighting champion Nebula is in action.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making her way to the ring, representing the Bad Girls from out of this world, the female fighting champion, the Unrelenting.
Well, 2 titles are going to be on the line inside Elimination Chamber here in just 12 short days. One of them is in the possession of the man sitting to my right here, the Wayfinder Cruiser Champion Jack Mitchell. Nebula, the female fighting champion, the other, as here tonight, 2 women with 2 golds. For Nebula, it's a case of preparation in that title defense, as she will have that title on the line against 5 other women inside of the steel structure. But for this woman, it's about frustration.
Virginia, Awesome Brooks.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen Autumn Brooks fail to capitalize on the, I want to say, many opportunities. It was only about 3 or 4, but she's had plenty of chances by this point to have the Women's World Championship of the Galaxy around her waist, and she has failed every single time, now trying to sort of regain a bit of that momentum in this matchup here tonight.
Won an eliminator match against the current Women's World Champion Elizabeth Swann that garnered her a title opportunity at Royal Brawl. Failed to cash in on that. She entered herself into the Women's Royal Rumble later that night. Got a pretty favorable entry in the second half of the field, but was eliminated, did not capitalize on that opportunity, and then got her final chance at the Women's World title at Saturday Night Springfield. The stipulation was, okay, got the title shot, but as long as I'm holding this championship belt, if I win, you can't fight for the title any longer. Elizabeth Swann was victorious, so for now, Autumn Brooks currently out of the title picture, and will look to kind of build with that frustration here tonight against Nebula. And kind of thinking of this in future sense, Jack, you'd have to think, we know that Mulan has a guaranteed title shot at Paramount against Elizabeth Swann. You gotta think Autumn Brooks has got to be the biggest Mulan fan in that matchup, because if Mulan wins, Autumn Brooks can put herself back into the title picture.
Absolutely. Also, we're pointing out, too, though, that she doesn't necessarily have to stay just focused on the world title as well. True. Because, you know, if Nebula retains the title, but Autumn wins tonight, Autumn basically has a claim to say that I pinned the current female fighting champion. Now, granted, that female fighting championship is usually not defended in a one-on-one match, but she could have an opportunity to maybe insert herself into that title picture as well.
Yeah, that's a great point, and you know, we ended up seeing her, there's a rope break there. I guess Autumn's foot was underneath the ropes, so this is a no disqualification match. It doesn't mean that rope breaks are not in play. Referee Ernest Wright right on top of that there. But, you know, kind of going back to the point you were talking about, that don't necessarily have to focus on the Women's World title. Autumn Brooks ended up getting that final title opportunity when she teamed up with Harley Quinn. I mean, who knows? We may end up seeing that tag team revisited, and they might try looking towards the women's tag team titles here down the home stretch towards Paramount.
Why do we keep a stop sign under the ring?
Well, I don't know.
I'm not sure. We're gonna have to figure that answer out from the higher ups. As now we've got a table under the ring that gets tossed right at Autumn Brooks. Now she somehow ends up on top of it.
I guarantee you, though, in a no disqualification match or a hardcore match or whatever have you, if it's under the ring, they will use it.
Absolutely. One thing, too, that I want to mention is we've got a baseball bat being introduced in the picture. Oh! Countered by Autumn. We talked about a lot how Robbie Gilvin was not necessarily at 100% entering that qualifying matchup that he was just in because of the title defense that he just had. I almost wonder, with this episode happening so close to the PLE, Nebula entering a no DQ match might not be the smartest move when you have the Elimination Chamber match right around the corner.
That's a great point. And think about it, too, that the caveat of an Elimination Chamber is you don't know where you're entering in. There's going to be 4 participants that are going to be locked inside of pods that will enter in at different intervals, but there's going to be 2 people that have to start out the matchup. So almost kind of going back to the Royal Rumble match where if you got entrance 1 or 2, you were guaranteed having to go through at least 29 other people. If you're one of the 2 starters in that matchup, let's say, for instance, Nebula ends up being one of those 2 starters, guaranteed she's going to have to go through 5 other superstars to be able to retain her title. And
of course, the added factor that the entire ring is being surrounded by a massive steel structure.
Oh, yeah. There's no access underneath the ring in Elimination Chamber matchup is where they're able to go outside the ring here to look underneath for these toys that they've brought into play. There will be a steel grating with a little bit of padding on it, but we talked about it. You don't need to go out and search for weapons. The cage, the Elimination Chamber, that's your weapon.
And that doesn't mean, because it's a no DQ match inside the chamber as well, that doesn't mean, as we got to cover here. Quick kick out by Nebula.
Not even kick out at 1 there, not even a 1 count.
But what I was trying to say is that doesn't mean that some of the competitors in the chamber can't sneak in something like brass knuckles or some poison mist or something like that. Those are all legal inside the chamber.
Autumn to the top rope. Various thoughts here. May look to the outside, flying forearm. Lot of distance, lot of gravity behind that shot.
It connected, but you could tell Autumn was feeling the after effects. Oh, we got a big Slim Jim.
Okay, let's ask the real questions. Why is there a Slim Jim under the ring?
I have absolutely no idea who's putting all this stuff under the ring, but they're using it to their full extent.
Who is Jim and why is he slim?
Oh my goodness.
Referee Ernest Wright not administering any count. It is no disqualification. Anything you want to do on the outside of the ring is at your disposal. The pinfall submission do have to take place inside. Nebula caught Autumn napping. Roll up and almost stole one right there.
That would have been really, really crafty. And a big kick to the head. Nebula is fired up, and Autumn quickly back to her feet. Nebula is still paying full attention to her opponent, though. Just because she was busy firing up the crowd doesn't mean she can't turn her attention right back to her competitor.
Full attention to her opponent. You got to think also been paying full attention to the women that have been advancing here into Mortal Kombat. That'll be taking place September 25th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk about the field here in a minute, unless Nebula is able to put Autumn away right here, and she actually does. That back fist, that spinning back fist, turned out the lights of Autumn Brooks. And Nebula, statement victory here against the rest of the field. She'll be going up against inside Elimination Chamber.
Fantastic momentum going into that PLE, and I guess we'll have to talk about the rest of the field at another time.
Yes, so, well, we've got the go-home show for Mortal Kombat coming up this Thursday night. Thanks for joining us on FWE Extra. We'll see you in the go-home show Thursday night. Good night, everybody.